Hi everyone, it's Karen here. Welcome to another Monday video with me and Lavinia Stamps. Today I'm going to share with you how I created this little card. Now you could scale this up and put it in your journal. The new stencils from Lavinia are fantastic. I'm using Words 1, Words 2 and the other stencil called Divine. But you can use any stencil for the background, that'll work perfectly. And for this purpose, I've just used an A6 card, which I've folded in half, and I've corner rounded the edges. But as I say, you can scale it up and do this same technique on a bigger sized card or your journal page. The colours that I'm going to be using here, I've got Festive Berries in Distress Oxides. I've got Mustard Seed. I've got Spiced Marmalade. So you can see what I've done there. These sit next to each other on the colour wheel, so they blend beautifully. And where they overlap, you get this lovely gradient effect. So those three in oxides, and then I'm using black soot for the contrast. And I've used black soot here. I'm also have got a tiny bit of paint in the background. I've got black and white. For the white, I'm using this paint, which you can find on the Lavinia site under the paint section. And then for my black splatters, I'm using a Posca pen. I've got my stencil brushes, and that's what I've used for the whole thing. And this is so much fun. And there are no limits, no boundaries. And let's go. So as I said, we've got an A6 card, which I've folded in half. I've just popped a piece of paper in the centre of it. And I'm going to take my Divine stencil and just lay it on the top. Then I'm going to open up each of my three oxides, Festive Berries, Mustard Seed, and Spiced Marmalade. So I'm going to start with Festive Berries. I'm going to take a bit onto my brush and then just dab a bit onto my mat so that I take off the heaviest splodges. And then I'm just going to move it in a circular motion, and I'm just going to place a couple of patches of this red colour. You can place them anywhere you like, but I quite like this idea when you place one here, one sort of in the corner and one at the top. Then it doesn't look too contrived. So you can see what I'm doing here. I've got a bold piece of colour in one part, and then the rest of it looks like it's shaded out. That way, when we bring in the yellow and the orange, we can blend them together. So I'm going to put this yellow next to the red, and you know, red and yellow make orange, so where they overlap, you'll get this lovely softer colour. So you can see what I've done there is I've put the three patches of red down, and then next to it I've put the yellow, and you can see even in parts we've already got an orange. And then I'm going to take my orange and just fill in the rest of the space. And I'm going to now overlap some of the areas where the red and the yellow have touched, so that we land up with this lovely organic looking background. You can tape the stencil down if you wish, but I decided not to. Right, there we go. I'm happy with that. So can you see we had our 3 patches of red, then I put the yellow in and then came in with the orange to just create a more variegated look. I'm just going to put the right lids on the right pads. Then I'm going to take my black Posca pen. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to corner around the edges. So I just use my corner rounder punch here, and I do the front and the back individually because it's not strong enough to go around this card. This is 330 GSM and it's the Lavinia multifarious cardstock. So to create my background, I've got my black splatters and I've got my white paint with circles. Do you can see those circles there? Just adds a bit of something else there. So for that, I'm using an aerosol cap and a little cap to one of those tiny little spritz bottles. So I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of this white paint onto my mat. It's quite thick paint, but it works beautifully for this. And then I'm just going to smush it around, making sure that I've caught it on all parts of the edge of this bottle cap. Now, when I'm using bottle caps like this, I will tend to use ones that have a flat edge. Sometimes you'll see they're a screw top and the edge is not flat. So just when you do that, find something that's flat. Now, I'm actually putting it on the red because then it shows up a bit more. But you know, when you're doing mixed media, this is the very beginning for you. And when you're doing mixed media, it's the layers that you build up that create the interest overall in your design. Not every single layer needs to pop. And remember to do a couple off the edge. There we go. Now I will just wipe those with a piece of kitchen towel. So that they don't dry out. And then I will just wipe my mat with a bit of water. Just pick up this paint. Then I'm going to take my black Posca pen and my ruler or something to tap it with, just so that I can give it a good hard beat to give me these lovely, lovely splatters. So there you have some really lovely interest. That's it. You get these really interesting splats. So now I'm just going to wait for that to dry for a few seconds. You can use your heat gun. Wait for that to dry and then we'll put our stenciling over the top. So now we're going to take our word stencil and we're actually going to use these flowers on it and create some texture with black soot. We're going to layer these flowers over the top. And you're not going to go in too hard with this ink. You kind of want them a bit, looks as though they're on the surface but fading into the background. So a bit like that. where I haven't done each of the petals really solidly. And if you can, put a couple of them hanging off the edge, then it doesn't look too contrived. And the little one in the center. I love these. You're going to see me use these a lot because they're so versatile. They'll go over the top. You can use them as a focal point, cut them out and use them as a focal point. Fun times. And then I'm just going to put one of them over here. As I say, just some of them need to be hanging off the edge of the card. Voila. And then I'm going to take the other word stencil and I am going to stencil the word art. And I love these words. They're not too close to the others, so you don't even have to take them off. Now I'm doing this one a bit darker than I did the flowers because I want this to be more prominent and more of a statement than I did with the flowers. So that's what you have. And then I haven't re-inked my stencil brush. I'm just going to flick it around the edge of the card. So I'm catching it sort of half of the bristles are on the top half of the card, and then it just creates a soft look there. And so there we have it. That's my offering for you today. I do hope you've enjoyed that. I would love to see what you make. So please tag me when you post your creations. I'd love it if you joined me on my YouTube channel. It's Karen Telfer. And every Monday I do a video for Lavinia Stamps and it's posted on their YouTube channel and on the website. So thanks so much for being here and I'll see you again next Monday. Bye for now.